Okay, we are back with more Orwell Ignorance is Strength. If you haven't checked any of the Orwell videos so far, the premise of this game is it's like social media, keyword hunting, sleuthing, spying, Orwellian adventure game. It's pretty neat. Last I left off here, my notes to myself, we are investigating a guy from the neighboring nation. The guy we're investigating is probably not a bad guy because the protagonists in this game are sort of the bad guys. And Ignorance is Strength takes place at the same time as the original Orwell, but it's kind of a parallel investigation. I think last time, I don't remember whether we determined if there was a canon playthrough of the original Orwell. I don't think it carries your save over from the original game, at least. Hey, thanks, game. This is really helpful. This is the dude with the newspaper. He had this really inflammatory podcast thing, is what we listened to right at the end of the previous episode. So, with the attention he had gained, Raban tried to publish a provocation aimed at the Pargesian president Cassart. He wanted to get Levine Vart arrested to distract from the provocation, which became involved and injured by a bombing at the Circle Mall, which the Circle Mall bombing was something that occurred in the original Orwell. We were able to stop Robin Vart from releasing the provocation against President Cassart. And I think these three things are potentially branching paths. It's possible that I wouldn't have stopped him, basically. Counseling a National Army veteran who deserted, a social worker at the Rehabilitation Council. I just need to bring myself back up to speed. It's been a few months since we last played. Had a session with Ilya Vart scheduled for yesterday. It's a counseling website. The Army veteran's name was Nina. That was from the original Orwell, it was Nina. It does use your save file from the first game, that's cool. Involved in the Bonton bombings when an explosion occurred at the Circle Mall and injured her severely. Tends to quit his job and leave Bonton with recently acquired money. Received a large payment in his bank account recently. He didn't log in at the time. His supplies went missing at his employer, Watergate Pharma. Asked a colleague to take over for him. Oh, yeah, I remember the card game tournament. He's been playing like Magic the Gathering or something. He's not involved in the supplies disappearance. He had switched shifts to go on a date at the time in question. Synthesis. We have need of you. You managed to prevent Robin's provocation. She looks like Carrie-Anne Moss. In order to take advantage of the situation, Prime Minister Blaine has shifted his schedule to fly out to Triflith and meet Cassart to calm down the situation permanently. Oh, I saw there's a Wikipedia article on there's a name for this style of like fictional, making a fictional nation that's inspired by a real world nation. I forget what it was called. I think it started with a T. It's probably on TV Tropes as well. So references some old movie that did it a really long time ago. Maybe like a Audrey Hepburn movie or something like that. All right, let's start looking at headlines here. People's Voice. Love this art. War is inevitable. They're out to discredit me and bring down what the People's Voice stands for, but we are stronger. Down with the government. This is war. Fight back. Know thyself, know thy enemy. I declare war on the government of the nation. Be careful with that shit, right? Because you can use that against him. You can be like, really? You declare war? I thought I could pick this up and carry it. If I disable it, it won't show up in the pop-ups anymore. Do we want to upload that to Orwell? He's not being literal, but it would look really bad if we were trying to frame him. I'll just leave it open for now. I'll remember that it's there. Headlines, National Beholder. This is the state-run newspaper. Catastrophe strikes the Circle Mall and kills one. Third terrorist strike in Bonton targets the Circle Mall despite investigative efforts. Smoke is still coming down out of the lockdown Circle Mall in Bonton due to choices that I made in the first game. Delacroix refuses to give a statement. Be on watch. Harrison O'Donnell. Show courage in the face of terror. Something I was talking about last episode that I would love for one of the puzzles in this game to be like, there's context in the entire article that you can miss if you're just looking for the things that the AI is automatically flagging. Or maybe there's context that is secretly clickable that isn't highlighted. Gray Shadows is on hold indefinitely. Yeah, we already did the edited movie poster. Okay, looks like it gave me credit for looking at all of the headlines. Admin log. Hahaha. He went through and removed everyone else's ability to contribute here. That's probably important. Some trouble in the ranks of the People's Voice? Good. I am not afraid of you, and I will not go away. Things are getting out of hand. Blabber's like this game's Twitter. Long past the point of no return. I quit. You're a coward and you always have been. Insulting our staff? What kind of journalist are you? Oh, this is why he takes away all their contributor statuses, okay. If you're not with me, you're against me. Well, that's not great. Draft. Cassart is a liar. It's from before, okay. I've got some purple things to scope out. Let's see what's at the insider here. Browser history. Fabulous blog involved in terrorist disappearance? I've read through that one already. Okay. That taps out the insider for now, right? Because everything else we've already seen. Insert a location name or address here to search through your album. I think I've already done a lot of these. I mean, provoke his arrest via an article scheduled for Friday evening. Taken to the streets of Trifliff. No images from that date. I love Top Deck Lethal. Records of attendance. This is basically WikiLeaks. So I can load stuff there to mess with him, basically. All right, let me go ahead and upload the has declared war thing, just in case that is event flag for progress. Who does this prick think he is? This has to end today. Part will no longer undermine the peace and neither parties nor the nation. When Orwell was created, the office requested a number of additional features beyond the day-to-day task of investigators. They had the obnoxious idea to integrate an ethical codex into Orwell, limiting its capabilities. This would not do for us. We are the nation's wardens. Okay. I found a way to develop a branch of the Orwell project. I see, that's why you have that in this game and not in the first game. Behold the influencer, the centerpiece of our very own version of Orwell. Not even the government has a clue this thing exists. You can spread a story through social media channels efficiently and thoroughly. Okay. So it's basically Russian bots. We need the thesis, a key statement which Robin made in his latest article. Which is probably going to end up being, he's declared war, right? Thesis, antithesis. I actually don't know how to get it in here, because I don't think I can drag it there, can I? $126,000. I might need some help from chat. I actually don't know how I'm supposed to get items into this module. Usually modules have their own things here. There's an upload button that I can't click. I don't think I can click anything else in here. Can't see my list of narratives. I already got this as his core statement from the article. Here it is. Maybe I need to upload this again. I guess there were two phrases I had to upload. Let me set that in the influencer. Okay, it changed the text on that screen. That was the problem. The government has willfully dragged Robin Vard's family into the conflict. I can't make up and randomly spread stuff. Instead, I need you to get me palpable information which we use to counter Robin's statement. So you use a real story, but then you spread it so that it's the top upvoted post on Reddit. And you do that often enough, you share enough real stories that people start to develop a narrative or see that the narrative is. It's kind of cool. Find me data chunks to construct a narrative. The thesis set in the influencer, new data chunks may be discovered in old documents or call transcripts. Okay, I think I get it now. I will not allow you to threaten the reputation of the people's voice. It's fucked up, yeah. This game is basically about the Russian troll farm. Although troll is like an unproductive word to describe them. They're more like active espionage, internet espionage. Boughton police database. Arrest record. Oh, she was arrested recently. Active measures. Suspect is using her phone to call her husband. No attempt at the bombing attempt could be proven. So you just send the contextless fact of her being on the phone with him the whole time, right? If you're not willing to go all the way with me, you're against me. I need context to put this into. Wait, is this already disabled? Wrong profile. It has to go on Karen. Okay, hold on. So you said remarkable timing with this call to Karen. It's a tragedy what happened there. Don't think I don't care. He sees his wife as a danger to his work, and then she gets arrested out of nowhere. One could draw conclusions from that. Hashtag blame on Robin. Yeah, this is fucked up. Using the influencer is extensive and takes about an hour time to complete. You only get very limited chances of spreading narratives today. Make sure they count. What's out there is out there forever, and information can be a most devastating weapon. Okay, I think this first one, you're basically scripted to pick one. There's no choices right now. But if they do this influencer thing in the future, I could see how it changes. This is the thing that's super frustrating to me. I've been talking about it in Discord over the last couple months. The sharing of something that is technically true, but when you read it in the pattern of what that person shares, you start to see a narrative that they're pushing that they have plausible deniability over. That if you say, hey, you brought this topic up 3 times, I know what you're suggesting is this awful thing. They're like, what are you talking about? I'm just sharing true things. And you're like, okay. Spread. A leaked chat protocol. A leak. That's a good way to describe it. Data spreading. Okay, we got a new reader now. Gotcha. Reactions to hashtag blame on Robin. Why were you on the phone with your wife when she was at the Circle Mall, Robin? Please don't tell me you're responsible for these bombings. It's a beautiful thing, the destruction of truth, isn't it? Is it? Trinity? Let go so easily. She seems a lot more obviously evil than the assistant from the original Orwell. Destroy the media monsters. These awful creatures who cannot be considered human are again trying to damage my family members in order to get to me. They cannot tear us apart. Family's loyal to him? Oh, please. See if we can shake up that feeling of loyalty a bit and prove Robin wrong. Give me pairs of data chunks from which I can construct narratives that we can spread. Pay attention to anything we might use to put Ilya or Karen's loyalty to him in doubt. I see. Thesis. His family has always been loyal. Let's show ways in which that is obviously not true. I think we get it out of Operation Flying Dog, right? Already used that. This seems to suggest there's more here, though. Other than the obvious, just portrait, right? See what else is on his desktop here. Trash. Nothing in his trash. Philosophy class. Saw these already. The medal with Oleg. There's nothing of interest from this photo here. Vent log. Oh, interesting. Associate that with Karen. Yes, let's tune in. These are voice acted in this one now, I think.
Brother, what happened to Karen? I don't know what to say. Why was she even at the mall? Out of all the stores, why was she right next to the bomb? I'm just trying to understand. Do you know anything?
This is not a good time.
It's okay. I understand. Sorry.
No, I don't think you understand at all. You don't even have a glimpse of how it feels when the one you love is wounded in a senseless attack. I can't even be there for her. Yet here we are, feign concern and immediately question what I know. Why? Ah, I see. You must have read it too. That I called her right before the incident.
Raban.
It is true. I called moments before. What does that mean to you, dear brother? She was there against my advice, to track down this impertinent army woman. Karen wouldn't listen. She just pressed on and ignored me. She suffered the consequences because of it.
How can you say that? She suffered the consequences of not listening to you, her wise and all-knowing husband.
What did you say?
How dare she defy the great Raban Vart? She was there, helping her patient, and you have no compassion. You are more concerned about being...
How do you dare say that? She is my wife.
Well, how dare you try to blame her for getting mixed up in all of this?
You insolent pest.
You have done nothing but snub me ever since we left the encampment. I've had it with this crap. For the record, if you hadn't kicked me out of TPV, I'd quit.
Go then, finally. You never cared for our cause anyway.
Remember, I was helping my sister with coordinating some of the Black Lives Matter protests in Columbus, Ohio a couple months ago, and she was really, really concerned about talking on the phone about it, and said that just the general vibe among the protesters there was trying to avoid being specific on the phone. And I remember having this feeling of is that being paranoid? And you play games like this, and you see some of the things that Snowden revealed, and it's maybe it's not that paranoid after all. Which is depressing that this isn't that over the top, this game. The influencer tab, the little computer that automatically builds narratives, might be a little bit much, but that's basically what the Russian internet espionage team is doing and has been doing for years at this point. Yeah, so the question is, has there ever been someone looking at a call log like this, where my sister and I are being very careful not to name locations of safe houses and where supplies are being sent, that sort of a thing. Thinks that Karen brought the incident on herself. This is downright heartless. Then he talks about loyalty. I guess there were rumors among the Columbus protesters that the police seemed to know where everyone was going, and it was possible that they were just in whatever Facebook group or whatever environment they were using to coordinate, which is why they got really cagey about it. Don't know if they had the power to listen into phone calls or would even do that in the first place, but the fact that there's any realistic concern at all is kind of terrifying. Belittled Ilya since they left the encampment. It's gonna look bad for the whole "my family is loyal to me" narrative. Need something more concrete first. Banned access from phone. That gets me his phone. Blaine cancels meeting for surprise visit in Triflith. Crisis meeting was removed from the official party website. Yeah, I agree, Ramadan. That's where I was like, oh, I'll respect your group's wishes to not discuss it openly on the phone. The police knowing about their movements and which parks they were going to be in and that sort of thing was probably because they had somebody that joined the group that they were using, the Facebook group, to coordinate surreptitiously, right? It's a little bit easier to pull off than like listening into random phone calls. Yeah, I know, right, Raker? Karen's PC. How are you today? Not so good. Stood in the lunch line for 1.5 hours. Nothing but bread left. The guy at the food handout told me to fuck off. Can't compare this place to an office canteen. A beautiful wedding ceremony at Bonton City Park. Show conflict. I think we're still dealing with time progressing whenever you upload stuff. One of this I love you message. A thing called a Stingray, which is a portable cell tower which intercepts every phone call and data which gets processed through it. Use is restricted, supposed to be with warrants to extract specific calls. A lot we don't know about how they're used. We do know the NYPD has some. They're not just used by the FBI, DOJ, and Department of Homeland Security. That actually sounds familiar, Six Gun. I think that my sister specifically mentioned that, like the word Stingray. I didn't Google it at the time to read about it more, but she was like, they could be trying to see what, if anyone's on the phone that's in the vicinity of downtown Columbus or something. Pretty scary. It's tough for me to balance, like, and this has been true for the last 5 years of nightmare world that we live in now, but balance, am I being alarmist with this is extremely alarming, right? It's a ticking dot, one of many ticking dots on my mental health lately. Apathetic in therapy sessions. Two 2015 was 20 years ago. Yeah. Around the summer of 2012, the patient went through a sudden change. He seemed to become more outgoing, happier, and willing to talk more. Tended to observe him personally. I can't just upload all of these, I think, because of the way that the time progression works in this game, so keep an eye on stuff for now. Optimism and overall social and friendly character, as well as a tendency to look at the bright side of things. This is on Ilya, okay. Emphasize his heroic escape from military service and purges on multiple occasions. I haven't seen the other data chunk yet. Okay. Beautiful Dewhurst. Don't forget to try our famous Dewhurst hot dogs. Okay, I'm probably gonna have to upload more stuff from her machine. Let me look at Ilya's phone first. There he is playing Magic. really do like the art assets in this game. They kind of remind me of some of the stylized art assets in Life is Strange. Seen most of this stuff already. Unsent draft to Karen. I'm gonna come visit you to hold your hand and tell you it's gonna be okay. Unsent. Dream about quitting. Wants to get away from Robin. That looks like that works for the narrative I'm trying to build. Everything we do know about it, stingrays have been used as super alarming. Right. Like, is it the kind of thing where it's like they can't use it in court without a warrant, but they might cheat and use it and then try to ex post facto come up with a legal reason why they did something, right? Like, oh, you know, Officer Brady, you should go check out this street for no particular reason. Oh, what do you know? There's the protesters. Man, they're doing something. They shouldn't be standing on the sidewalk with that many people. This is one narrative we could potentially spread. However, oh, I misclicked that. Use that time to dig for more narratives. Give me everything that could be of use. Okay. It's like, how did you know to check that street? Oh, it was just a coincidence. Right? We would never... They would never actually cite it in court, that that's how they found it. Here's the Karen fancies me. She doesn't like me one bit. But this was like 6 years ago, right? Find a way to escape the refugee camp at any cost. Could be useful if backed with the right fact. But this game is probably easier to play as like a intentional bad guy. I've been trying to play it as, let's go for the things that are probably actually true, instead of let's take the thing that we can easily manipulate, right? The first game sort of thread that needle. It still says there's something new here that I haven't messed with. I'm guessing it's just the portrait. If I disable, let me see if it still shows. Okay, no, that was the thing it wanted me to use. Okay, there's like an ancient article there. Communications, I don't have anything new that's interesting. Still have more things to check on his phone. Tracking. Locations in the last 24 hours. E-ticket. Your e-ticket wallet is empty. Contacts. Karen. Got her mobile number. The NYPD has been caught doing exactly that. They got a tip from unsanctioned stingrays and tried to hide that fact in court. Yikes. Yeah. It's scary. There's an uncle named Simos. Interesting. Disclosing how stingrays work is prohibited by the license agreement with the company that makes them. Wonderful. That's always good to hear. Ilya's optimistic and good-natured. Still don't have the conflict. Heroic escape from military conflict. See if there's anything else that I should be getting here before I start trying to build this narrative. Location, name or address. Hologram is Instagram, basically. CMOS. We also need addresses for this, right? We're going to try the April 12th, 2017. Patient database. I've already searched for him, but I'll just double check really quick. Patient's inactive. This is all known. Let's try Ilya, maybe. Tried not breaking the law. I got all this stuff already last time. Full name or social security number, so CMOS won't work, right? Yeah, okay. I don't think there's too much else I can do now. Agent call sign. Name is just CMOS, that's not gonna work. Yeah, okay. I think I love you is fair. That's too sweet. That got me new things. Still dig for more narratives. We have one chance here. There's no pending article draft. The medium monsters have no chance against us. We will always fight back. Cannot tear us apart. Family members will remain loyal to me as they always have been. I feel like the Ilya one is the way to go anyway, right? Seems to suggest life always will be on my side. Makes it seem like there's something new on the homepage. I don't see what it is just yet. Ilya. Data submitted. Media watchdog, editor-in-chief. Maybe just that this page got moved back, basically. So something's new here. I don't see any other links. Let's do Traitor of the People. I feel like that is going to work better than the one about his wife being unfaithful or not liking him. That's not consistent with any of the stuff we found. Getting a top post on Reddit with this. Reactions to Traitor of the People. Your brother wants to leave? This coward wrote as bad as you. Waste people's time with the gibberish. Shit out of your brain. Skeptical whether your attack on Robin's brother was a good choice. It didn't cost him any followers. Interesting. Okay, so I feel like you could hit him harder if you pulled up the wife one, even though that one was not true. Right? Big conspiracy. Blaine and Cassard are conspiring against us. It's hard to play this game trying to be a good person. That's kind of the point, right? How many people gathering in front of the presidential palace? Us playing the same game. Let's construct our own little conspiracy theory. We have to hit him hard this time, very hard. We must break his follower base. It's hard to be a good person. Rumors over the internet that you want to leave the people's voice and rob on. Just like back then in Partis when you got your poor parents, Anastasia and Milovan, in trouble. Interesting. Related document. E-ticket wallet. Bought a one-way trans-regional train ticket for one adult. Making a run for it. Who could blame him? Well, we could, of course. Notification. Oh no! Karen died. Attempts to stabilize her have failed. Yeah, I bet we could have framed him for, like, the bombing and said that he was trying to kill his wife. Right? If we had claimed that they had marital problems. Such a tragedy. Whoops, I dismissed sex by mistake. Bonton bombing suspect shot on the run. This is from the original game. Orwell. She died? Death is illegal. I've got my in to convict them. No problem. This is all seen. Stand up and resist. Our government is corrupt. Forces of true parties have been getting more and more violent, inciting unrest and bloody protests. I'd like to address them personally in an open letter. We've lost many members to the newly formed Forces of True Parges. This is going way back in the past. Our initiative will remain peaceful. Saying that collecting signatures is not enough to fight a corrupt regime. Yeah, this game hits a bit harder now, right? I fear it's going to become more relevant by the end of this year. Welcome, Captain Ilya Janeway. Please enter your password here. Message board. Okay, so we've seen stuff in the past that's a reference to let's see. Ilya's a Star Trek nerd, right? We've seen the Janeway thing elsewhere. Where was that? I feel like I was just reading about that. Wish I could actually like Control F search in this game. I have to disappoint you. Didn't expect you to sink so low as to work with the Office. The Office wants to get rid of me. Can't build a conspiracy theory that involves us directly. Oleg believes the Office wants to get rid of him. The unit was being targeted by someone unknown. Oleg's daughter died in the school bombing. Seems relevant. Something we could get value from. Let me see if I can check Ilya's stuff again. Thought he had something in here about Janeway. Guessing people's passwords in this is really cool. Way too many smiley faces in that. Truth about quitting. Never forget, ask Uncle Simos about Captain Ilya Janeway. Let's try some stuff there. Simos. Ha! Wonderful. Family communication. Parents. How did you use this message board for our family communications? We don't believe our telephone is safe anymore. Uh-oh. This is an old abandoned board of an initiative we took part in some time ago. It should be secure and unknown to the authorities. Parents were revolutionaries. Everyone openly criticizes Cassard all the time. Don't get any benefit from knowing his parents did the same thing. Okay. They might wiretap our phone. Pick a secure password you can remember. Oof. Simos wanted to invite Oleg Burke. Oh, they live next door to him. Interesting. Guess I can put that on whoever. Literally closer than we thought. I feel like this is a treasure trove, getting this password. Drafted for service. Yeah, that seems consistent with the thing that talked about him dodging it. Army of Partis forcibly recruited a lot of men into their ranks when the conflict with the FTP erupted anew. Got us a new document, which is exciting. Promise to get Ilya exempted from military service by convincing Oleg. Check messages ASAP. Mom and Dad are gone. They took them. They sent soldiers to our home. Jeez. Maybe they deserved it after him. Thanks, Carrie Ann Moss. It's in the listener. Know that I stand with you. This guy, David Johns. Karen's mother, Elizabeth, opposed your marriage and tried everything to prevent it. Interesting. Contact with her mother. It's going to be a conflict that we have to find the other side of soon. Ilyavard. 1st Infantry Division. Attempted to flee from service. Heroic escape from service. Failed in his attempt to escape. Given the picture here, I'm going to go with he failed to escape being true. He got punished. His parents were kidnapped as a punishment. There's a powerful narrative in that. Oh, interesting. Ilya got his parents punished for his own cowardice and tried to get his brother to cover for him. Keep searching. Okay. That's clever. Don't need the portrait. Elizabeth Levine for mayor. I stand for the nation's values. This is the guy we're investigating, his mother-in-law. Read the full interview with Beholder's Jeffrey Paxton here. Back in 2013. Okay, she's anti-immigration. My daughter Karen is a kind-hearted person. Supports her mother's position. I'm gonna go with whatever's said out loud in public is less likely to be true than the thing that's said in private. Sheltered the Pargesian army in the school. You have drawn fire directly to the school. How mindless can you get? Hi Ben, you're very furry. Very cute. Let's go with the secret one that says broke contact with her mother. With a mother like Elizabeth, I can't imagine why. Don't really care about her being kind-hearted. Party supports Karen's work directly via state funding. Okay, if I wanted to blame Karen, I'd have to do the thing that says that she's connected with Elizabeth. But again, that seems like that's not true, even though it would be better propaganda. Meet Elizabeth. Son Maxwell. Pargesian army will protect Provost Secondary. What did the conflict bring with the FTP? I've managed to make a deal with Oleg Bakay, whose unit will protect our school. Yeah, that looks really bad for him. Okay. I know Bakay wanted a shelter for his unit. I'm gonna see if I can cat cam here briefly. Oh, no, never mind. Ben is leaving. Bye, Ben. That was very nice. Go on searching for more material to create narratives from. Please take your time. You need to make this count. Coward brother, army lover, lousy deal. I think this makes him look the worst. No pending article. Blaine and Cassard are conspiring against us. Alright, let me try the one that says that he tried to get his brother exempted. So I feel like this one, people are gonna side with Ilya, and it's also not Raban's fault. This one, so this seems like this is the least impactful, this is medium impactful, and this might be highly impactful. Hashtag lousy deal. You sold the Prava secondary shelter to the Pargesian army? How could you do such a thing? You endangered the lives of those kids. I'll let you insult my brother. I can't believe Ilya was part of the Pargesian army. Spread and done. Oh, the fact that he made the deal to help his brother decrease the impact. So it actually would have been more impactful to leave that part out. I thought maybe it would make him look worse because it sounds like he was doing something shady, but I guess people side with his brother. Gotcha. So you can see his follower count. So I've been doing this really poorly so far. Sympathy win? Yeah, I gauge it as bad, okay, and best, but I had my best and okay mixed. I think if I picked Coward Brother, that one wouldn't have worked at all. Yeah, he's gone. Oops. The national government kills. The national government ordered the shelling of Bravo Secondary. We're the peacekeepers. We wouldn't attack a school. We will destroy him now. Give me something that shows beyond a doubt that the nation isn't to blame. Know that I stand with you. Your loyalty to me is beyond any limits. You've been with me from the start. The people's voice would not nearly become what it is had you not been there. You're more than a fan. You're a true friend. Want it to end, wants to stop his work. He needs to be rendered harmless once and for all. Unsung hero you need to know about. Can't believe you published that article without consulting me. What were you thinking? I'm about to try to cheer you up. Been so stressed and sad lately. Since you helped me get out of the army, I wanted to do something for you. Lied about his brother in the past. Doesn't want to be seen as a hero. He's a sad joke and he's going down. Oh, his brother is the one that's long. I guess I'll wait to reveal that one because it says that he's basically just out of town. Maybe we should do that one now. Okay. What did Ilya lie about regarding his brother? Good question. Not your friend. It's a lie. It's all a lie. It's from David Johns, a very mysterious person. You ought to claim the nation bombed your school. You have no idea how right you are. I got my hands on some internal documents for you. Interesting. From WikiLeaks. Haha. How does this person leak confidential information to Raban? So who's the she, I wonder? Turning David Johns into a target person. Operation Calvary. Described an incident in which the National Army bombarded a Pargesian school. The Army of the nation had been well aware of the fact that many students and teachers were in the building. The school had been used as a bomb shelter for many weeks. Started shelling the school, leaving it destroyed. Soldiers Oleg Bakay and Alexander Petkovic were the only survivors on the side of the Barghesian army. Only one known civilian survivor. Jeez. Thought he rescued lots of his students. Working on it. Had to be protected from an angry mob. My child died in the school bombing. I want justice. How is it that Raban is the only survivor? They're still hospitalized, so I'm answering on his behalf. It's not his fault the FTP attacked the school. List of all the dead children. All my pupils died. Okay, this is to make him look really bad. We don't need to construct a narrative. This itself will be his undoing. Bring him down. Let me see if there's more I can research about my new person of interest here, David Johns. Socialite, David Johns, X2 Think. It's not one of our agents, is it? Fighting the fake news people's voice. Get a feeling this might not be our guy. I do have a thing I can search. That this totally isn't him. So where was my database search? Here we go. X2 Think, David Johns, redacted. Give me their identities so I can find them and make sure they don't undermine our work any longer. Trash, disappear. Now you've been blabbering about your new job controlling David Johns and the others, despite telling us telling you explicitly not to do so. We can make you disappear, as you put it, or other people. And they share a scary picture of his dad. Jesus. Yikes. I'm inside his house. Documents encrypted. Interesting. Just like your mom. Who the hell says that? As you know, your mom's full name is this. Okay, that's why it said she earlier. You're just like your mom, Iris Young, talking to you. Okay, I think I get it. That makes more sense. Browser history. Funny cats, must watch. Cassandra Watergate thought. Yeah, these are all really suspicious lookups here. Okay, I think I'm basically done with following up on her then. It was more that it was referring to her by her full name. I guess that happens sometimes. The national government kills civilians. To manipulate your thoughts, they murder people. How Rabban Vard only saved himself, let all the students die, and built a false myth to profit from. Marstead, streamer I watch. I think Serps actually called me by my full name in chat before, so some future Orwell user would find that. It's not that unrealistic. Right, you just have to find someone typing Dylan or hear Andrea say Dylan or something like that, and then Control F through the chat log. Take a look at Blabber. You need to see this. The ignorant, miserable bunch. Still far too many people standing by the people's voice. We failed. Our efforts are for naught. The riots before the palace rage on unchecked. This is the end, agent. This is my last announcement.
My dear followers, those of you who still remain, the story that has finally been spread by the despicable government
Absolutely.
mouthpiece. It is true. All of it. I never saved those children. Because I was too afraid. Because I ran for my life, eager of saving it before theirs. Here I now am. Alive. And they aren't. I had so long forgotten about it. And now it's shaking me to my core. I believed that if I only tried hard enough, I could change things. That I could make things better for my people at home in Parges. I believed I could fight against the corrupt, evil, rotten politicians longing for power at the people's expense. I believed I could free my home country from these parasites and go back home. If only I twisted words long enough. We all need a reliable base on which our world is based. Our truth. This was mine. But now I realize that I've been living a lie. Not only a lie that made you believe in me, but a lie that allowed me to forget who I actually was. A far too comfortable lie. Only one thing is worse. Knowing that even as I speak, you all continue. Carry on, fight on with all your fury, perpetuating that very lie endlessly. Creating new truths based on fake claims put out there ages ago. What will become of this world when everybody has their own truth? What will be real?
Ooh.
Dependable? Everything will be nothing. Truth is dead. And I killed it that very day I was too afraid to speak up and correct a mistake. But no longer. This story has to end on my terms. There's hardly anything more concrete than a bullet. It creates a tangible, uncomfortable fact.
Right.
The very thing needed.
The feeling that truth is dead is the primary ticking mental health dot. Well, shit. We aren't post-truth because we were never truth. Yeah, I mean, nihilism. There's never been truth. Fine. I don't disagree in principle. Practically. Damn, is there another way to end it where where Robin doesn't just shoot himself? Is that the worst possible ending that I fuck up really bad? Ilya comes in, disrupts the announcement, and shoots him dead. Wow. Hooray! One of the worst. I love that it just cuts there, too. Yeah, I think he's a better voice actor than the material they gave him. That makes sense. Like, the theming of the material was good. The actual, like, phrasing wasn't really things that a human being would say in a lot of cases. It should be one of the best in this game, right? There you go. What other endings could there be for this one? Was I able to take the discoveries about the Johns guy any further if I had more time to investigate? Now you could leak the Orwell project through WikiLeaks. Ah, okay. Interesting. And get the Snowden ending. This is a cool game, though. I like this one and the original Orwell. See, I thought there was a lot about Karen and Ilya's conversations that made me think that they had an affair, but I didn't see any concrete evidence of it. Lots of winky faces and stuff like that. So maybe you could have gotten more follow-up on that if you had selected the conflict that said that they didn't love each other, even though that was an older bit of text. One of his dates on the dating site is one of Karen's patients with a different name. Interesting. So that's where you get proof of it, right? I do like the whole, because that's new to Ignorance is Strength, right? The little purple search icons where you can match specific dates, addresses, and search queries. It seems like there's a potential for a lot of little Easter eggs and, you know, harder work plot threads versus just following along the base plot line and getting Robin to commit suicide live on the air. It's a good game. Thank you for sharing it. I'd be excited to see more from this dev in the future. It's one of those things where it's like, this is too real, but it's well executed, and I think that Ignorance and Strength added a bunch of really cool upgrades to the original game. If they keep doing that with new content in the future, I think they could make this really, really solid.